So the name of this lab is the FanCart Lab, and the purpose is to graphically and mathematically model the relationship between the acceleration of a fan cart and the mass of the fan cart, and between the acceleration and the net force experienced by the fan cart. Video, you're going to be watching what you're going to be doing in lab tomorrow so that you can quicker get your data, more quickly I should say. So in the lab, you're going to plug in one of your computers into the USB, plug this into your USB port from the Lab Pro. And there's a couple things you're going to be measuring. You'll be measuring what the acceleration is of the fan cart. And you're also going to be measuring the force from the net force that is pulling here. So we're going to assume that it's pretty much frictionless and it should be nice and level. It should stop moving. If yours is not level, then you might have to adjust the feet. There's two parts of this lab. We want to figure out what is the relationship between the acceleration and the mass. So the mass of one of these fan carts is 300 grams. In your second drawer, there's a whole bunch of different masses that you could put on more mass. So therefore, you can change what the mass is and see what the effects on the acceleration is. And I would just suggest putting this on. You turn this on here, and there's different speeds that you can go. I would suggest putting it on high and then turn it on. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on, and what I can do is I can hit play, and I'm collecting data on my computer at the exact same time, and go ahead and start the thing and make it take off. I'm going to try to catch it down here at the end so it doesn't smash. And so you'll be able to look on your graph, the velocity time graph, find the slope of it. That would be your acceleration. That's for 300 grams. And then you can, change the mass, maybe put another 100 grams on it. So now it'll be 400 grams. Do the exact same speed setting. Again, collect data and do this so you get 6 different slopes. That'd be 6 different accelerations for 6. When you plug in your Logger Pro into or Lab Pro into the USB on your computer, it should automatically sense it. What you want to do is you want to zero everything. So there's a way to zero right here, or I'm going to come up here to experiment and zero. And it will ask you if you want to zero everything, so I'm just going to hit OK. And while I'm doing this, the force probe is kind of horizontal, so now the force is good. Everything's good to go. And it looks to me, I think it's working. So I'm going to go ahead and hit turn my fan cart on, and I'm going to collect data. So hit collect. Okay, so you can see this happens pretty quickly, but here's the velocity time graph. So I'm going to find what that slope is. And if I go up to analyze and linear fit, I can find the slope there. Don't worry about the negative. That just means it's coming towards the detector, as you saw. So there's the acceleration. And of course, I've already got whatever mass it is. And I'm going to do that for all the other masses that I have in here. Different masses. Before you leave this to go on to the next part of the experiment, we also need to know what this net force is. So on your fan cart, there is a little string attached to this with a paper clip. And what we can do is we can hook it up to this force probe. And this force probe should be set on 10 newtons because I don't think it'll go any higher than that. And the first thing we have to do is we have to zero this. So I'm going to click the 0 on my computer, and I'll show you how to do that in a little bit. And when I hold this, I need to kind of hold it like this so there's no force on it, so kind of horizontal. And then when I'm ready to collect data, I'm just going to loop this through the paper clip, again holding it horizontal, hit collect data, and then start this up. And I'll be able to read on my computer what that force is recording as. That'll be the net force. At the very end, before I move on to part 2 of the lab, I also need to record what is the force for this particular high-speed setting. So I'm going to go ahead and attach my paperclip to the force probe and try to hold it horizontally. And I'm going to hit collect again. I've already recorded the acceleration. I can get rid of that. I've got all my data points, but I have to record my constant force. So I'm going to turn this on and hit collect. And that should be enough. You don't want to run down your battery or your fan car. It's going to mess some stuff up. I'm going to right click on this and auto scale from 0 so you can kind of see. You can see it's not at 0. And so I think what I'm going to do is, instead of just guessing, I think what I'm going to do is just kind of find the average of all this. So analyze statistics, and the average is 0.1924. That's going to be my net force for my constant net force. And so we have to record that as our constant. So that's the first part of the experiment, where you're just changing the mass and seeing what the effect is on the acceleration. For the second part of the lab, what you have to do is you have to see what the effects of changing the force are. So that means you're going to be choosing different speed settings. So for instance, now I have it on high, so I can get one data point there. And I need to keep my mass constant. So this could be one data point right here. I could figure out what my force is and also what my acceleration is. So let me loop this through here, and I'm going to collect data. I'm going to hit play and collect data. I can see what the force is, and then remove this and let it accelerate and find that acceleration. And then for part 2 of the experiment, where the mass stays constant now, so I'm not going to change the mass of my car. What I'm going to do is I'm going to be changing the different force settings. So I'm going to go ahead and turn on my card again. And I'm going to hit collect. So find my force. And now let it accelerate. All right, so I've already got my data here. So the first part here, I'm going to find what my force is. So I'd say right in here. This is where my hand was touching it, where it went up really high. So I'm just going to find in here, find my average force. And it looks like 0.1940, which makes sense. That's what I had it set on a second ago. And here I'm going to find out what my slope of my velocity time graph is. That would be my acceleration. And so I would record what my force is and what my acceleration is for each fan setting. Then I could do it for a different force setting, keeping the mass constant. So let's say I just go with nothing on here, so 300 grams. That's one data point. I need 5 more. So there's also low and medium. So I can change this to low. Loop through my force probe and turn it on, hit collect, and see what that force is, and then let her go and find the acceleration. Okay. And then I could do it for medium speed. Loop it through here, start it up, hit collect, see what that force is, and then let it go, find the acceleration. So I've done low, medium, high, but those are only 3 settings I have, low, medium, high. But there's one more that says variable. And so if I turn it on now, I can change it to whatever I want. So let's say right there is a setting. So I have it all ready to go. Turn it on, hit collect, see what the force is, record that, let it go and find the acceleration of this. Okay. So now I'm up to 4 data points. Now I'm going to turn it on, try a different variable speed. So maybe there. So loop it through here, turn this on, hit collect, find out what that force is, and then let her go, find the acceleration. And then finally one more to get my 6 data point, so turn this on. Maybe there's my variable speed right there. Loop it through here, turn this on, hit collect, record what that force is, let it go and find the acceleration. Okay, all the while the mass hasn't changed, so if I went with nothing on here, it'd be 300 grams. Okay, so that's all the data that you need to come in and get tomorrow. You have to be kind of fast. So again, remember I can do high, I can do low, and I can do medium, and I'm going to do the exact same thing here. And then when I get the variable, I need to get 3 more data points to get different forces. So for instance, right there, I just put on a variable. I'm going to go ahead and hook this up. It looks like maybe I need to re-zero my probes again. There we go, that's pretty close anyway. And let me go ahead and hook this up, and I'm going to turn it on and hit collect data. Holding my force probe horizontal. I'm going to release it to accelerate. Okay, good. All right, so I can, right here in the beginning, I can go ahead and find out what my constant force is. So analyze statistics, and my average force is about 0.06730 newtons. And as far as acceleration, I think I'm going to have to zoom in here. So I'm going to right click, auto scale 0. Boy, I can't see it very good. Let me see if I can auto scale. Let's see. Well, zoom in. Yeah, I can kind of see a slope here. I was hoping that I could change it. Let me go back. Let's see, how about graph options? Axes. All right, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this to maybe 2 and maybe -2. I don't think I need to go all the way to -5. There, I can see the graph a lot better. And so I think I'm going to pick in this region here and find the slope, analyze, linear fit, and there I can find the acceleration is 0.1842. So again, I'm recording that force. That was before I let it go. And then later on, I let it go, and now I can find the acceleration. So I have to get 6 data points for that part of the lab as well.